ammo. We're going back in.
They came in like a wrecking ball. Alright, let's stick together. No, let's split up. No,
Best of luck, soldier. The folks back home are counting on you. Make the agency proud.
Oh! How did we win that? That was amazing! Wow! That was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Throw the grenade. Boom!
Oh my god.
I killed him before he got...
That was nuts.
Oh my god, that was so nuts.
Alright, I wanted to talk really quickly about something that's near and dear to my heart, which is gunfight mode in Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Gunfight mode is the best mode. It is the best mode in either of these games. It's better than Warzone, it's better than multiplayer, it's definitely better than like the big team stuff like multi-team or fire team or whatever they call it in Cold War. It's definitely bigger than the large scale stuff, the ground war or whatever it is in Modern Warfare. It's the most fun I've had with Call of Duty since war mode in Call of Duty World War II. Now, granted, I don't think that game is as good as either Modern Warfare or Black Ops Cold War, and really, Black Ops Cold War has risen to the top of the food chain for me personally. I've played a ton of this game, way more than I thought I would play when I first played it, and gunfight mode is just so great, and yet, in both these games, Activision, Infinity Ward, and Treyarch are dropping the ball in pretty significant ways. There's just so much untapped potential in gunfight. Now, I will briefly explain gunfight. It's typically 2v2. 6 rounds. Whoever gets to 6 rounds first wins. Unlike multiplayer, you don't choose your loadouts. Loadouts are the same for both teams. Every 2 rounds, the loadout switches. So maybe each team has a sniper rifle and a pistol. And some sort of lethal, maybe a frag and a flashbang, something like that. The loadouts change every 2 rounds. But everyone has the same loadouts, nobody has kill streaks, and rounds are very, very short. When the round is over, a flag will appear, and both teams can try to capture that flag if they don't wipe out the other team. So you win each round either by killing the other players or by capturing the flag. Or if the timer runs out, if you have more hit points by the end of the round, you win. Or if you have the same, it's a draw. First team to 6 wins, and this can be right down to the wire, 5v5, or you can have blowouts. It just depends. I've noticed that for the most part, matches, while not always like evenly matched, it usually comes down to a pretty close game. I've had blowouts on both ends where I've lost really badly or won really handily, but a lot of times it's down to that 5v5 mark. There can be epic comebacks. It's a perfectly structured competitive shooter, and I love it. It's so much fun. I play with my kids, I play with my friends, and yet there are so many problems with it. In Modern Warfare right now, I swear to God, half the time it won't even load. You go to try to play gunfight now, while you can get into multiplayer, good luck finding a gunfight match. It just loads forever. This seems to be an issue with specific maps. So I went into offline, and I was playing against bots, and certain maps, like docks, would not load. So certain maps, it seems, offline won't even load. There's some sort of bug or glitch in Modern Warfare where you cannot load these damn maps. Which means that you're just stuck in an endless cycle of matchmaking, which makes the game, if this is my favorite mode in Modern Warfare and in Black Ops Cold War, but I can't get into a match in Modern Warfare to save my life. In Cold War, there are other issues. So I like to play Modern Warfare in split screen with my kids. So we trade off controllers, we play split screen, and we play against other duos. Split screen in Modern Warfare has, it's a full screen on the top and the bottom, all the way to both edges. It looks great. Split screen always is a disadvantage because you can't see as much of the screen, but in Modern Warfare, you still get a good bit of real estate. So it's pretty decent. The frame rates are very consistent. I'm not sure exactly what it's at, but it's at a steady frame rate. So it plays pretty much as though you're playing full screen, and you're not cut off too much. So it's very, very playable. It's very doable. In Cold War, the split screen is black boxed on both sides, so it's a smaller screen. Frame rates are definitely lower. It's very janky in split screen. It kind of sucks. There have been bugs that I think they've fixed, but there was a time in split screen where the bottom player, the secondary player, not the main account, but the secondary account, you could actually see on their screen the red outlines of the enemy team, and not just at the beginning of the match, but throughout. So you could see where they were coming. It was like a built-in cheat, which was kind of funny, but not exactly fair. Although I guess it made up for having a terrible frame rate and a tiny little screen with almost no real estate. I don't see why Treyarch can't fix its split screen. Its split screen is awful, and that's not just in Gunfight, but it since we play that in split screen, we really notice that. So we don't even play split screen anymore in Cold War. We just get on different machines, which is fine, but it's kind of frustrating because it's nice to just sit on the couch and play that way. The other problem lately I've been hoping for a 3v3 in Cold War because they ran that in Modern Warfare for a while. Been hoping for a 3v3 mode, and they finally introduced 3v3 gunfights, but it's a nightmare. You cannot matchmake that. You will sit in matchmaking for 10 minutes and still not find a match. You'll have 2 people on the other team and 2 people on your team, and they will not match you with solo players. It's crazy. It's so frustrating. If you don't have 3 players to play with, you're just screwed. And this brings me to kind of the larger point that Gunfight is all by itself a phenomenal game. I mean, I would buy this game just for Gunfight. I think that they should have solos, duos, and trios all the time to choose from in Gunfight. I think that instead of all these resources being devoted to these large team playlists that I don't think a lot of the community really plays, I think they should devote a lot more to Gunfight. I would play a standalone Call of Duty Gunfight game that had like 20 maps and solo, duo, and trio options for squads. I don't think I'd go all the way to squads like 4v4. I think it just gets too busy. But I think solos would be great because it's basically practicing for the gulag in Warzone. Duos obviously super fun, and trios again a great, a lot of the larger maps work really well, and maybe you could just have the larger maps for trios, and then duos could be on any map, and then solos would only be on the smaller maps. But really, this is just, it's fun to watch, it's fun to play, it's competitive, it's fair, it puts everyone on the same playing field rather than, the problem with multiplayer often is that if one team is really rolling the other team, then they start getting all these kill streaks or score streaks or whatever, and then they start just stomping the other team because of these streaks, and it can be really imbalanced, whereas at least in Gunfight, it's a test of skill. Like, you have the same guns, you know that if you've got snipers, you're going up against snipers. You still have to make choices because maybe your secondary weapon is going to be a better option. And it's very tactical. It requires communication with the other players. I don't like to play with randoms in Gunfight. I don't mind in multiplayer, but I do mind in Gunfight because I want to make sure I'm on a headset. I want to make sure I can communicate. I want to make sure that I'm playing with somebody who's a team player, and I want to be able to coordinate all of that. So really, I think Activision needs to tap into the strengths of Gunfight mode. It's such a good, innovative shooter, competitive shooter, and I really think it could have a robust experience with you. If you have enough maps and you have consistent matchmaking, you give people some options, I think this could be just a tremendous game. It could be a standalone game, or it could just be a pillar of Call of Duty going forward. In the shorter term, I think really, if they're not going to have 2 or 3 player in Cold War, they need to have a system where if you get 2 duos, you can just ready up and opt into a 2v2 match. Because waiting forever while there's 2 duos and you're waiting forever for each team to get a third is agonizing. It's so stupid. I don't understand. Especially, after a minute, they should just kick you in there or something. They need a better option here. So Gunfight mode. If you haven't played it yet, please do. And frankly, in Call of Duty Modern Warfare, it was fantastic. I have grown to like Black Ops Cold War more, just for the speed and for the, you know, I guess I prefer most of the guns. I don't know, the game's really grown on me. But anyways, play Gunfight. Like this video, subscribe to my channel if you would. I would appreciate it. Hit the bell, all that jazz, and thank you so much for watching.